What's going on, guys? So today I wanted to go and give you guys some information about one of the best species of fish you can start fishing for. Now, I have a video on YouTube, and I would appreciate if you guys go and check it out. It's called Digital Fisherman. Go check out that channel as well. And there's a video showing you the steps you can take to get started fishing. And one of the first fish that most people fish for are bluegill. Now, they call them perch. In different places in the South, they call them brim. But I'm going to tell you, there are a lot of different types of these panfish. Now, people call them panfish, sunfish, perch. And like I said, the one I'm talking about is called bluegill. In the South, we call them brim. And they call them perch. But there's a lot of different types of panfish around. And I'll go over those as well, too, because there's a bunch of them. And I'm going to go over and give you some scientific terminology for them, too. But the one I want to talk to you about today is called bluegill. That's the one that I started, and I had fun. My grandmother had me out there when I was 3. I started fishing for them, and I caught, they're fun for your kids because they get them going and get me started, and I've been fishing ever since. And a lot of people have had that same experience. So what they do is they say, yeah, one of the first fish I ever caught, my dad, my uncle, my cousin, my friends, we all went fishing and we caught bluegill, right? Because especially in the summertime when you're out of school and me and my brother used to go down to, we have a levee down by our where we lived, and we would go down there and catch little crawdads and take the tails out. And once you take the meat out of the tail, everything eats a crawdad. So we would use that as bait. We'd find line on the ground, we find hooks, and we would hand fish for them, and we catch bluegill. And we found out that they're really good too. You take them home and we eat them. That's what we have for dinner. So they're tasty. They're easy to catch. There were a lot, and there were a lot of different places. So, and they're in shallow water, and once the water gets warm, they're easy to find. So, this is the fish that I would suggest you go out fishing with, because you can go and take your kids. This is a great time. It's summertime, water's warm, kids are out of school, and you can go take them out, and they'll have a good time. Because kids get bored quickly, and so this is one of the fish that if they're there, they're gonna bite quick. And the techniques are, you have a bobber, you have a hook, and you have a weight, and you put a little piece of worm on the hook, or night crawler, mini crawler, red worm, grub, wax worm. There's a bunch of different baits you can use. You can use bread, rolled up little piece of bread. You can use bread too as well, and then cast that out by any kind of vegetation, tree, bush, water vegetation. They're going to be around those areas because that's where they love to be. They want to be able to escape because there are other bigger fish that are looking for them, right? So they want to be able to get away. And that's a really good way to catch them. This is the time of year to catch them. Take your kids, take your grandkids. For me personally, I'm going to be teaching kids how to fish. So, and parents too. So when I'm not there, the parents can go take them out because it's fun. It's a really good time. And so bluegill are one of the best ways to do it. And let me go over the scientific way of doing it. There are lots of panfish. The first one I'm going to start with is called bluegill. Now, it's in the lepomis family. That's Lepomis, right? And I just went through a big search, research and development. I wanted to learn as much as I could about the panfish because I've been fishing for them. I know how to catch them. I know where they are, but I want to learn as much as I can on the scientific aspect of it too, because that's going to help me teach other people how to catch bluegill. Now, they're called lepomis Microchiros. That's what a bluegill's scientific name is. Okay, lepomis Microchiros, and that's the scientific name. Now, they're sunfish or bluegill sunfish, what people call them. In the South, they call them brim. And there's a lot of different ways, a lot of different fish people are talking about. They call them perch. That's another thing. Now, bluegill are very, very distinct because they have a bluish green hue on their gill plate, right? They're small, they're round, and they have a distinct dark spot at the base of their dorsal fin. Okay? Now, that's it. That blue sheen on their gill covers, and they also have a slightly forked tail on bluegill, and they're round. That's how bluegill are, right? Now, they're in lakes, they're in ponds, they're in slow-moving rivers because they don't want to have to fight the current, because that way prey will be able to be easier to get them, right? And they love warm, shallow waters with plenty of vegetation. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. You can catch them around trees, around bush, submerged bush, any kind of vegetation in the water, grass and algae, and you know what I mean, anything like that. That's where they love to be. Tules in the water. That's why I like to go fishing for them, because it's close to the shore. There's vegetation, and that's where they love to be. Okay, and what you want to use to catch them, there are lots of different things you can use for them, like different baits. Like I said, little pieces of mini night crawler, mini red worms, wax worms. People use mealworms. They use crickets, very, very small minnows. And if you want to go on the artificial side, there are little jigs. You can use little minnow like 1/32 jigs, or you can use spinners like little rooster tails, or little, very, very little spinners. Those things work. A lot of that stuff works. Little bug imitations. They're kind of the same stuff you can use for trout, like the little flies. Bluegill will eat those too, because they are really, really small presentations. And that's important because their mouth is small. Okay? So you can catch them a lot of different ways, right? And the thing of it is, the good thing is you can put a bobber on the line with a little weight, and then a little presentation with a little hook, small hook, and then cast it around all that vegetation and just wait. Because the bobber's going to tell you in a very short period of time if they're there or they're not. Because a lot of times bluegill love to school up, and there's going to be, you know, a bunch of them around. And once they've noticed that there's food in the water, there'll be more coming around. And there's a terminology that I like to use too, because once you get them going, now you can stay in that spot until the bites slow down, and then you just move to another spot and keep moving. And then you'll catch, you know, 4 or 5 in that spot. Man, it could be you can catch 20 or 30 because the fish will keep coming. That's why they're fun, and that's why they're good fish to take kids fishing, because when they're in there and you get them watching that bobber and you get them excited about what's happening in the water, that's when kids get excited, and that's when they're going to be wanting to go fishing more often. Plus they get to experience nature, and it's really awesome. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm going to do. I'll be teaching kids how to catch, starting with bluegill, and then I'll move up to, you know, bass, and we'll go up the list, because I fish for everything, from bluegill to bluefin marlin, you know, in Costa Rica. I fish for all of that stuff. But the best fish you can start fishing for, if you've never fished before, or you only fished and it was a long time ago when you were a kid and you don't really remember and you want to have fun, go out, get a nice little 5-6 foot rod, 6-pound test, little size 8 hook, 10 hook, with a bobber, little weight, and a little piece of worm or bread or corn or whatever. You can use a lot of different things, but they love worms. They like worms, and you can't catch them on bread, because I have, right? And I have a funny story too about when I went to Catalina Island. There's some different fish that I caught there, and I caught them on frozen vegetables, which it will blow your mind if I told you. When I'll tell you, I'll do a video about that too. But so these bluegill, is the time of year to catch them. They like warm water. They like vegetation. So cast your line by the shore. If you see a tree or a bush in the water, that's a perfect opportunity. When they love that type of structure, okay? And then wait, cast out and just wait, and be ready, because they're gonna be quick, okay? That's one of the best things you can do. So, the lepomis microchiros, right? And they have they have the ability to make you go have so much excitement, because that bobber is going to be dancing, and the fish will be the kids will be watching that bobber, and they're going to get excited too. So it's a great fish to take kids go fishing. First fish to go fishing for. Best way you can go and get kids interested in fishing. That's what I'm going to be teaching them as well. So this was to teach you guys, if you guys want to go start fishing, go ahead and start with bluegill, because it's one of the simplest, funnest, and easiest ways to go and catch some fish, especially this time of year. Okay, and they're also really good if you like to eat fish. They're good for you, and there's some techniques you can get. You know, I'll do some videos too for catch, clean, and cook too, but they're really, really good. So the good thing is, if this information has helped you, please do me a favor, go over to subscribe, comment. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. I have a couple other videos on there too, the steps to get started fishing, what gear to use. So go ahead and take a look at those videos, and I would really appreciate it. Until then, have a great and powerful day.